Grief, stress, anxiety, fear. These are just a few of the feelings and emotions many people are experiencing in 2020. Statistics show that mental health issues are increasing in both adults and children. But one form of therapy that isn't often talked about involves plants, herbs, and a lot of luscious green colors.
I think if I reflect back on it, the pivotal moment was when I was ending my traditional talk therapy. I had been going to therapy for over a year to deal with the grief, dealing with the loss of my sister. And that was something that was instrumental to me because I had put off the therapy for a year. So my therapist and I really did some deep work on realizing where the trauma was, where the hurt was, and unpacking it and no longer suppressing it.
Veronica Moore focused on being mindful of her mental health. While she was in therapy, her therapist had plants everywhere, and she was drawn to them. Moore grew up around plants, so it wasn't a foreign idea to her.
I knew that at that time I was getting back to the Veronica that could care for things and could nurture things beyond just the responsibility of my daughter, right? I knew that I had nurtured myself. And prior to that, I was numb. I didn't want to care for anything else. And so I started to care for my plants and I started to meditate and pray every day as I cared for them.
Through the pandemic, Moore found peace thanks to her therapy, mindfulness, and caring for her plants.
It's teaching me a lot about myself. It's teaching me to be okay with the process of growth and to be patient with myself and to observe the growth that's happening within my own personal development.
Moore is a creator and felt called to sharing her healing journey on social media. In early April, she created Brown Skin Plant Mama on Instagram, and in just 3 months, she's connected with lovers of nature across the globe.
I love the fact that I am a strong Black woman and I love my skin. So I was like, brown skin has to be in it in some type of way. My identity, and that's one of my most salient identities, is being a Black woman. It has to come through because I want representation to also be in that space of the plant community. I wanted to let folks know that yes, brown and Black folks love plants too.
Through Instagram, Moore connected with Jemai Fisher, who is currently living in Iowa. Fisher was born and raised in the Bahamas.
Well, I was very much so brought up in a culture where we were taught to be lovers of the land. I come from a line of farmers and fishermen, and so it's really important that we take care of nature because in a lot of ways, nature takes care of us. I also grew up in a culture where bush medicine is a thing. And so instead of relying on pharmaceutical drugs or products, you're really relying on plants to take care of you.
Both Moore and Fisher are passionate about educating Black and brown people that gardening and plant therapy is inherent to their culture.
Cultivating nature, using nature, and really just having a relationship with it is something that is inherent to us as Black people. It's not something that's new. I think for obvious reasons and obvious history that was rather traumatic, it can sometimes be very difficult for people to start thinking about this idea of gardening or farming or agriculture. And so for me, it's really all about helping folks get connected, reconnected, or even repairing their relationship with nature through gardening.
Fisher says that caring for plants takes time, research, patience, and dedication.
Have a practice that can be implemented into your daily routine that in a lot of ways is so calming, and there's so much research out there about how taking care of a garden or taking care of plants in a lot of ways is self-soothing and helps improve some of that anxiety or that stress.
Moore and Fisher will be connecting again on an IGTV series called Plant Therapy is Real. To learn more about healing with nature, go to pbs39.org. I'm Tracy Yatsko, PBS 39 News Tonight. It all started with $5,000. That's how much Oshun Family Center's founder, Salima McNeil, asked the community to donate to her nonprofit organization, which focuses on providing mental health services for the Black community and healing racial trauma. Within weeks, that $5,000 ask grew to an amazing $76,000.
My goodness, the journey has been such a whirlwind. I launched this on June 3rd. After looking at a weekend of devastation and anger and just outward displays of emotion from the Black community in the wake of the deaths of Ahmaud Arbery, Breonna Taylor, and George Floyd. And so I understood that at that point in time that I needed to do something as a clinician that would help foster the healing that needed to take place post-COVID, post the protests and everything that is going on.
McNeil is now able to provide 8 free therapy sessions for those who need the support.
We have about 39 people right now who are receiving services or already scheduled to receive their first round of therapy services. And so we are spread across 8 different therapists and 3 different practices who are providing the services to the Black community. And I'm just so excited that the Black community really showed up to help break down those barriers and those stigmas to say that we don't go to therapy. And we got over 100 inquiries in one day, and we are filtering through the list right now, and people will get the services that they desire.
McNeil also supports Black mothers through her action-oriented task force, the Maternal Wellness Village. It's a village of women who help reduce the rates of Black maternal mortality in Philadelphia. McNeil's passion for helping the Black community sparks support from across the country. McNeil received help from allies to help push this mission forward, including Oscar, Grammy, Tony, and Golden Globe award-winning songwriter Benj Pasek, known for his work in The Greatest Showman and Dear Evan Hansen. He matched $15,000 in donations.
I think it's really important for our white allies to understand that in this moment, within a movement, it shouldn't slow down. We continuously need your support because we now see today what it looks like for us to band together and really get things done. So we deserve the support from you all on a continuous basis and understanding the impact that you have, because when I asked for $5,000 and got $76,000, I knew that it was you who's backing me along this way to help the Black community. So keep up with your solidarity and showing your monetary support out there protesting and just amplifying Black voices throughout this journey from here on out.
McNeil says if anyone of color is struggling with their mental health, to reach out to family and friends for support and get a therapist if you feel like you need one. For more information on Oshun Family Center or Maternal Wellness Village, check out pbs39.org. I'm Tracy Yatsko, PBS 39 News Tonight.
We know that trauma survivors need healing, but the issue that happens with prison trauma survivors is that it's perceived as earned trauma. You did something, you committed a crime, and anything that happens due to that, you deserve.
Let's get into today's topic, the stigma of mental health. According to the National Alliance on Mental Illness, 1 in 5 adults, that's 43.8 million people in the United States, experience mental illness in a given year. Later in the show, we will hear from an expert on this issue, but first, let's chat with our cast. 43.8 million people, that is a lot of people that this affects. Why do you think there is such a stigma regarding mental health, Kiera?
I believe that there is a stigma regarding mental health strictly due to ignorance. I feel like a lot of people are not educated of what mental health is, how it affects people.
I went to an inpatient facility because my depression got so bad that I just didn't want to exist anymore. Mm-hmm. And at that point, I was officially diagnosed with PTSD, major depression, and a little bit of dissociation. So now I'm learning to live with everything, and it's just been one heck of a ride, to say the least.
That helplessness of feeling alone, it's important to know that you're not alone and to follow uplifting, positive things on social media to kind of help yourself in that situation.
Education, empathy, acceptance, understanding, and most of all, redefining and a redefinition of what we understand as love. Love is the answer. It's always been the answer, and it'll continue to be the answer to provide and embrace individuals with mental illness and to eliminating stigma. The other aspect of stigma is external. But once we embrace our diagnosis, understand that diagnosis, seek proper treatment and support, and find a level of quality of life that we can embrace, stigma will have no control over us.